I'm surprised TV Tokyo doesn't have a copyright strike over using Koro-sensei and To Love Ru in this episode of Gintama. Quite amusing, quite amusing. So, anyways, I'm going to make this review a little bit quick because I don't have much time this morning. I got to head to the store and do a couple of things and go pick up some food and stuff like that. So, I want to try to make this review a little bit short, but I want to try to get the entire point across when it comes to this episode of Gintama. So, you could split this episode up into two different segments. The first half is Gin-sensei teaching along with Suki, and then you also have it to where at the second half, Shinpachi and Gin, they have a conversation over a porno magazine. So, that's kind of the simple, brief description of this episode. Now, personally, I enjoyed the second half a lot more than the first half. Now, I like the first half. I like getting to see Suki and Gin, you know, have their conversations, stuff like that. It's really funny getting to see how history played out. It's like I learned my own history from Japan without even having to read history books. So, overall, first half of the episode is very funny. I like the Koro-sensei reference. That was just shocking because, let's face it, a lot of us have made the correlations between Gintama and Assassination Classroom. It was very obvious, and then to see how Gintama takes it upon itself to do a reference to Koro-sensei, and you have it to where Gin's hair's on Koro-sensei, that was pretty fucking hilarious. It was pretty fucking hilarious. Now, in the second half of the episode, that's when we get into some really funny things when it comes to me. Now, comedy is subjective, so it depends on your taste in comedy, which half of this episode you enjoyed more. But personally, I enjoyed the second half of the episode because, one, I follow To Love Ru. I love To Love Ru, and it's a fucking amazing series. And yes, I'm kind of in a similar fashion. I wouldn't be bragging about saying I read To Love Ru and say, oh my god, this is amazing, stuff like that. I'm not one to really go out of my way to brag, but it's a good, damn good series. And to see how in the second half it was kind of focused on that Shinpachi hiding To Love Ru, and they were pretty much labeling To Love Ru as a porno magazine, that was fucking hilarious. I fucking died because it's so funny because, yeah, majority of people's reactions to To Love Ru is similar to that, but what was even funnier is like the entire take of how porno, they were trying to hide porno in the entire episode. Like, you had to where Gin was discovering Shinpachi's hidden magazines all over the freaking room, and I was cracking up dying because just every time he, like, lifted up a drawer, he moved books aside, he kept finding more, and then the dialogue that Shinpachi said before that, he's like, I don't have anything, I never had anything like that, and all of a sudden Gin just starts revealing all these dark secrets. Fucking hilarious, priceless, and funny. Now, episode, like I said, it is an enjoyable episode. It was mainly a comedy base, but that is Gintama a lot, and I truly enjoyed it. It's a great way to wake up on a Wednesday morning, and tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about this week's episode of Gintama? Now, if you did not know, if you're unaware, last week I had a copyright strike on my Gintama review, so that's why the Gintama review was not up. Oh yes, and also one thing too is, Gin states that To Love Ru was fucking greatness, and that right there, that is when you know you have a wonderful episode on your hands, when you see how Gin even states specifically that To Love Ru was greatness. Like, I love that. I mean, he even called Shinpachi a pleb. He called him a pleb in this episode. Like, I love all these different cultural references in, you know, Gintama. It's just something I really enjoy watching and reading, especially reading. Actually, I've been reading a couple of chapters of Gintama. I will have to admit that. I have read a little bit of ahead. I did, recently I read a chapter between 423. It was like 423, and it was a pretty funny Kagura arc. Oh my god, that arc was pretty fucking funny. But I can't wait to see that actually anime. I'm trying to catch up with the manga right now, but it's still funny as ever getting to see these episodes animated. Animation quality in the episode is good as ever when it comes to Gintama, so I can't really complain. Music fucking amazing. You had those old classic musical songs we heard in the original Gintama. So yeah, what is not to love when it comes to this episode of Gintama? So tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.